Does anybody know about the tarpon on the Eastern Shore?
Know about them?
Yeah, I know about them. I've seen it. I've seen them. As far as the tarpon on the Eastern Shore go, yeah, I've seen them.
They're there.
Yep. If they exist, look at that. Have fun.
I've seen one roll too. I've seen them roll a couple times.
You're gonna need
What's that? Oh, yeah.
a bug screen, fucking a lot of bait, a lot of hooks, a lot of patience.
All right, we're back for podcast number 14, part 2. So, yeah, just back, took a pee break and back again. We got a couple questions on there.
Yeah, we'll take looking for a new kayak. What can you do about demo days coming up? The demo days are in May, aren't they?
There's one. Well, River has one in May, I think. I'm not sure if they do or not, but I know Appomattox has one up in Farmville in June. And
that's huge.
That's a good one.
It's a really good one to go to. Yeah. Everybody's represented there.
All the boats.
Fairly. Yeah. It's not a pressured environment because everybody's there.
Yeah.
The pros from the local area of everybody's there, and there's some that travel.
Yep.
That come there. You're gonna get good advice.
Yeah.
You get a chance to try out everything.
Yeah, everything. And that's the cool
everything.
Part, the demos. And we're going to do an ocean kayak demo or a Johnson Outdoors demo. We're going to do. I'm going to try to pull off 3 of them this year, just of our boats, and we're going to try to do that here soon. As soon as it gets warm enough where you don't have to wear waders.
Yeah, the thing about it is you want people to be able to walk up and not even have to be prepared.
Yeah.
If you can get people driving by to see what's going on or whatever. I mean, in the summertime, people don't have to be prepared. Yeah. Literally.
Appomattox is in June. I think it's June 14th or something like one of the Saturday. And then ours is going to be. I'll post it up when we figure out the days on those. We just got to figure that out. Forgot about that. We're back. Yeah, but do you guys have any demos down there? Do you do anything like that?
No, I don't do anything like that. You've got the Kitty Hawk Surf Company down there. I think they run one. And it's kind of more like an all-out water day. And I want to say that's in like June or July. So they're, at their location down in Rodanthe, they're doing kayaks, they're doing kite boards, stand-up paddles. Yeah. I mean, it is a little bit more. I mean, you're going to have the stand-up paddling at our demos too.
Yeah. I mean, not ours, but not the one we have because Ocean Kayak has one, and if we get one, we'll definitely have it.
Hopefully, we'll bring it down.
If
Greg, we don't have one personally, but if Greg brings it down, our rep will have it.
Yeah. Generally, for me, people will hire me because I'm a wilderness guy, and they might hire me solely because they want to try out a wilderness boat. Yeah. But
that is not a bad idea.
But that question is valid in the sense that you need to demo the boat, the boats.
Yeah, try something.
I love wilderness. It works great for me. And I know you're an ocean kayak guys, and our job is to convince you as pro staffers why we think our boat's the best. But in the end, you need to test and be comfortable.
Yeah.
Get it right the first time. Get the right boat. Don't go to Bass Pro Shops. Don't go to Dick's Sports and spend $400. Save your pennies. Do it right the first time. You can skimp on so many other things in the kayak once you've gotten it and build up. You can have a $40 paddle. It's gonna suck.
You're fishing,
but you can have a $40
and also
paddle.
Remember that you're fishing in salt water. So if you buy those real expensive freshwater bait casting reels, you're wasting your money.
Well, they're super expensive. I mean,
they're super expensive.
I shoot for $130.
Your middle range stuff is what we use, and it lasts for seasons, as many seasons as you can expect to get out of this stuff. 3 seasons.
But the thing is,
4 seasons.
With that price of that price range, it's worth getting them fixed because it costs maybe $20-$40 to get them fixed,
cleaned. Clean them out, get them good, clean them once a year, get them fixed up.
Bearings or whatever it needs. Whatever it needs to be. It's going to get rusted out no matter what, but it's going to happen. But they'll last a longer time. Yeah.
Well, and when you're starting out, don't buy anything expensive solely because you're probably going to lose some of it.
Yeah, you're going to drop some shit overboard.
Right,
folks.
that's a guarantee.
And there's some shit you're going to have on tethers that you're going to drop overboard, and the tethers aren't going to be tied to the boat. Because shit happens. Literally, I can tell you, I swear, I still don't carry a knife on the kayak because I don't know how many times it was but I would always grab a knife at the tackle shop and take it, and I would drop it over. I literally don't know that I had a knife make it more than 2 fishing trips in the first 3 or 4 months I had the kayak, and I haven't carried a knife since. I carry scissors.
Yeah.
I don't have one strapped to me anyway. It didn't matter where I put it. Something got caught in it. I did something. I used it and set it on. I literally lost the knife the very first time I took it on the water.
Well, I always tell this story, especially when I was working at the tackle shop, and guys, when new kayakers were getting the sport. One of the most expensive gear is like, look, you're going to lose all this stuff. And I tell the story about Shantae when I was dating Shantae. When she wanted to start coming fishing with me, I was giving her like $25, $30 combos. And she was looking at mine and said, why you giving me all this cheap shit? I was like, because you're going to lose all of this. All of these reels, all this stuff that you have, you're going to lose all this. No, I'm not. Within that first year, bloop, bloop, all of them went in the water, and then, okay, now you can step up, because now you've already, because your first time in a kayak, all that stuff is alien. I mean, for us, it's so second nature. Everything I know where everything's here, I know everything's here, I know everything's here. I can do it in my sleep and, all that stuff. But somebody who's not doing it or hasn't done it for a long time, you put a rod across your leg, you might not realize that it's there through excitement of something else. And whoops, there it goes. Or you lay it down here, just like always that. So
that's right.
You're going to lose all that stuff in your first year of getting comfortable in the boat. It takes that long. Yeah.
And that's another good thing about the demo day is you got not only all these boats, but you're going to see all these accessories. I mean, even just perfect example when we all come together for the rendezvous over there at ARC. Once again, you're in the shop. You're seeing first of the year, and these people are doing stuff in May and stuff. The new product's on the market. It's there. You're looking at it. So you might also get ideas for the rigging and see so much more with that demo day and really get a good, comfortable feel. Because it's like rushing in to buy your first motorcycle. That's what I tell people. And you buy the 400, you got it for a month, and you're like, man, I should have bought the 1200.
Right.
It might kill you, but you just kind of work your way up to it. So, and then that's the thing. Just get your kayak right the first time, so you're not selling it 6 months later at some huge discount, taking a hit.
And it's not like the 1200 either. The more expensive kayak is actually more safe and
right.
It's going to be more apt for what you're doing, as opposed to like jumping into the 1200 motorcycle.
But it's also
your wife's not going to be the biggest fan of that. By the way, don't use that analogy. You're like, I want the 1200. What?
It also is knowing what you want to do with it. If you're looking at our video and going, oh, I want to go catch sheepshead at the bridge. I want to go target stripers, or I want to go target reds.
Take that kayak from Dick's out there and bash the side in on it.
That's the thing. Or if you just want to hit Rudy, or you just want to hit the inlets, or you just want to hit the backwaters.
Right.
If you're going to ocean, or if you're going to go backwaters, there's boats for each one of those.
Yeah.
And
then there's boats that like are good all around boats as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing is about like even in your backwater, it's open. So it's open water. It's shallow water. You're not in like so much like really heavy creeks where you have a lot of shelter. You have open water. Wind is the thing. So high gunnel boats are affected by that. So the high seat boats aren't the best. It's comfortable, but not the best when you're in an open situation like that.
But at the same time, for a lot of the kayak fishing, it's short distances. You don't have to go far. So you once again. Know where you're going to fish it and how you're going to apply it. You guys do a lot of long distance stuff where you're going out to the islands and things of that nature. Well, at least for me, to target certain fish, I have wrecks that might only be less than a quarter mile off the beach.
But you gotta go. You're going off the beach.
Right. Hey, you are planning this stuff. I mean, if you're just like, I got this, I will tell you, you will end up like the two guys that rented a kayak. Okay, they're down there. They rent a tandem. It's southwest.
Right, because we can do that.
It's southwest at like 25 miles an hour. So they were all cool on the lee-hand side of that island. And they got a little bit farther off, and the wind drove them so far off, and they couldn't paddle against it that they literally jumped out of the kayak, swam back to the beach with their life vest on. And it was like some crazy thing, like it took them an hour plus to get back against the wind, but they couldn't paddle it.
Yeah.
And you know your environment, know where you're going to use it.
Yeah, like
I don't have to do that. I can get drum within a few hundred yards of the beach. Everything for me is close proximity, so I can go in a wider boat.
Yeah.
You know, I can have that ride boat. But if you're going to go long distance, you're going to need that faster, narrower boat.
Do you have a method to help clients through the surf?
Yeah, because I'm not going on a day I'm gonna kill
right.
anybody.
Right.
I don't know how my insurance would feel about that. But here's the thing, and everybody watching, you know, there's no big secret to how the Outer Banks looks. You look at it from a map, and it's like a giant elbow. And so your different wind patterns are affecting. When you got 100 miles of two different sides to fish, and in most cases, those two sides aren't even a quarter mile apart.
Yeah.
Knowing how that's one of the various trickiest parts to fish, the Outer Banks and this Bear Island, because of that. Each wind affects the area different, can make it bad, make it poor, but make it, it's 6 foot surf on this side, you go around the elbow and it's flat.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I have that to my advantage, and I'm like, yeah, we're getting to the lee side,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll stay close where we're not going to get blown off and screwed up.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big dynamics of the kayak fishing on the Outer Banks. But you need to be mobile. You know, you're not going to go to Cape Point every time and tear stuff up. You wouldn't go to Hatteras Inlet or Oregon.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're not mobile with your kayak fishing,
That's
then
the
you're going to get what you get.
And that's the thing is down there, it's a little bit of a drive. You wouldn't think, if you're looking at it, oh, it looks like a small community, but it's not. Sometimes it will take an hour to get to a fishing spot.
The thing about it is, though, is once you're down there on vacation or you're down there to go fishing, you got to be willing to be able to move to go do that. I mean.
Yeah.
You said we're gonna go here. I'm sorry, dude. It's fucking howling, and these fish over here. I mean, it's really gonna work if we go over here. I can tell. I mean, and I'm sure you can look at the client and be like, all right, man. If you want to go there, we'll go there. It's gonna cost you the same for me to take you there and show you that we can't go, as it would be for me to turn around, go right around here, and we can go fishing.
Well, that's the thing.
You know what I mean? And
mobile around the winds, around the fish movements.
And the thing about the Outer Banks is you've got to be able to do that too. And the cool thing is you've got the ocean on one side and the sound on the other. And I mean, in some places, it's what, 100 yards or a couple hundred yards?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, in a few spots along P Island, it's pretty grim. I mean, even down around Frisco, in between Frisco and Hatteras, is kind of grim. I mean, it's like slingshot. Literally, an acorn, you don't even need a rock, an acorn will fly from the sound to the ocean practically. And so, yeah. But
I was just comparing it, like last week we had Steven in here, and he always goes out of Rudy because he can either stay in Rudy or go out.
Yeah.
Well, the things that you do down there, man, and sometimes they catch the puppy drum or larger juveniles right outside of the surf, and it's not just the big ones, but I mean, you've got those options. You can fish here today, there, but you have to understand. I mean, your clients and everybody have to understand. Like, there's a lot of places you can go to fish down here. It's not one boat ramp.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
from a client standpoint, that's easier for me because I'm able to explain it to them. Like, well, I know you're in Duck, and I want to go fish somewhere that's 25, 30 miles from you.
Right.
Well, the bottom line is, even if you booked a charter, nearest place you're going is Pirates Cove or Oregon Inlet, you're going to have to drive to there anyway.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And once you're on that boat, you're going to have drive time to get to the fishing ground. All I can tell you is that wherever I go, when I launch, I'm going to be fishing in 5 to 10 minutes flat.
Oh, yeah.
Period, game on. And so that's how it's easier for me to sell it. But, I started out on the Outer Banks 13 years ago, and I was working on Rodanthe Pier. And I was just lucky, those guys saw that I wanted to learn and wanted to fish, and the old heads took me in. And that was the thing. I mean, the best of the best guys, they don't fish the tournaments, they don't post on the internet.
Right.
Those guys are what I call drum hunters. Mm-hmm. And I have literally been rolling with them, and over a 30-hour period, been at Sandbridge, fish, shit turn off, you're on Avalon, like 2 hours later, you're fishing, you're catching a few, and then it's like, oh no, it's going off in Corolla, and now you're
up the beach,
airing down, shooting, and this is what you're doing, and I get people that want to relax. I own a camper or whatever. I get that, but I'm fish hungry, and the guys that I'm watching,
I wasn't talking bad about.
Man.
That's why on the first movie at the beginning of it, I said, "Who says kayak fishing is relaxing?"
Yeah.
Because we.
Yeah. And I wasn't talking bad about like the chartering. I was just saying like there's so many options down there. Like you can move around with the weather and everything.
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, I wasn't trying to get it.
You can get
hungry.
yourself pointed back west and charge down towards Englehart and Swan's Corner and Juniper Bay and stuff, and that's 50, 60 mile ride. Okay, once again, you're back into an incredible fishery.
Yeah.
So I love living on Hatteras from a fishing aspect. Living in Kill Devil Hills now is better for me. That I'm kind of in the middle. I want to shoot 50, 60 miles west.
Oh,
No
so you're at
problem.
Kill Devil Hills now?
50, 60 miles
Okay,
south or north.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a few years now. And that has been a bonus for me. You know, if you live all the way down in Buxton or Hatteras and you're trying to do at least what I'm trying to do, then it's going to limit you. It's going to be hard. Like,
It's more the centralized.
Right. Am I going to drive all the way up to Bob Perry Road and launch back there after these puppy drum and speckled trout that's in Kitty Hawk?
Yeah.
And I live in Buxton.
Yeah.
This way, everything is kind of split. It really is. I'm in a good spot for saying that I'm mobile.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. What were you laughing at, Lee?
Oh, this comment. He said, "Thanks for answering this question, but boo for bashing his boat. He's got the old dick special."
I'm really not picking on you. I'm really not.
No, it's just. I mean. He said he tried.
It's nothing I would want to take into
admits right
the
here.
that's what I'm saying.
I tried an ocean kayak from somebody else this weekend and see the difference. And that's what the demo days. That's what
the demo days are.
I always
But
promote.
those Dick's types of boats, you can fish Rudy with those. Those are excellent.
Yeah.
You fish the backwaters, they're excellent for that. And
Yeah.
fish freshwater with that, they're excellent for that. But if you're trying to punch out the surf or
Right,
going,
right.
you know, getting some waves,
Spend any time. I mean,
spend
a lot of
time.
times they're not comfortable to
Right.
spend time in.
Right.
And what I'm saying is the demo days. Like all I've ever been in is ocean kayaks. I've paddled other boats.
Yeah.
I really like ocean kayaks, but I've got friends that ask. You know what I mean? And I'm like, the best thing you can do is try boats. What I can do is offer you the ocean kayaks that I have. Jay's a good friend of mine. He has wilderness boats all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the thing is,
William's got the hurricane.
Well,
If
like-
you want to try and fish some boats, like
well, that's the thing is like I'm at Maddox River now. I'm
Right.
working there now, and we do that. We do okay. You want to fish? Say you want like what we do. You want to do what we do. We show them like 3 different styles of boats. You tarpon and then the tridents, you know, and stuff like that. So it's the same kind of models, but in the 3 different brands. And here's what each of them have, and you know, and all that stuff. So it's
I mean, we spent a lot of time last week talking about Rick's. Feel free.
Yeah, I felt like, they came in the shop and I felt like I knew all about it.
Yeah.
I saw Rick playing with it, and
I mean,
this new feel free boat with this super.
The lure.
His mug
What
is-
did he
No,
have?
it's a
11 and a half?
lure.
That's right. The
Thing is,
lure.
Did he have like 11 and a half, or did he have a
Yeah.
10?
That's right.
He had a 10, but it does have 11 and a half. But it's got a seat like a. It's really cool.
It
seat.
really
It's really
jacks
cool
up.
seat, yeah.
And I mean, we were trying to get it.
Trying to get him to fall
we were
in.
trying to get him to fall out, and
it wasn't happening.
In their defense, it wouldn't happen. Rick's not a big guy, but I mean, he was literally. He was like,
Let's
at
up
one
on the
point, he's
seat.
like, "We want to take pictures. I want to get some pictures of me getting up and down." So I was like,
All right.
"Perfect."
Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and
And
down.
he was like, "Is that enough?" I was like, "No, that's not
I didn't
enough.
get it,
The light's
right.
getting good.
Yep.
Get up and down.
Down, up and down. Turn around.
Trying
Up
to
on the
make
seat
him
and
roll it.
spin around.
Nice.
Do a like. You know,
You
do
stand on the seat. What do
do a
you
twirl.
see?
Come on, come on.
Bonefish."
You know, here in Tidewater, your kayaking community up here is massive, and it continues to grow. Where
People are so nice.
on
too.
the Outer
Right.
Banks, this is a different world. This is a skiff life. People
Yeah.
grew up with their small boats, their backwater
I want
boats.
it.
You know, and I get it. You know, so kayaking is just gradually taking a much slower pace at growing down there for all the incredible fishing that it is. But with that said, I've seen, at least even in our sound waters, everything you can think of, from like some little 6-foot sit inside, you know, and that guy's jumping out. He's got a stringer on like 5-pound flounder. And he's like, hey, I don't need that boat. You know, I got this boat from West Marine on sale. It was 3 years old.
A guy,
you know, for $200.
Used to be a guy-
and it done.
a guy at an
Get it
8-foot
done.
sit inside at Rudy was my best luck charm ever.
There was a guy.
The 2 weeks in a row he showed up, I caught the two big. I mean, none of them were citations, but I caught the two biggest flounder I ever caught 2 weeks in a row. 5 minutes after this dude showed up on the rocks, carrying his shit over his head, dropped his shit in the water and started flounder fishing. And I went up to this one spot on the bridge, and I dropped my shit down. I caught a 25-incher one week, a 25-and-a-half-incher the next week, like 5 minutes after this dude. And I was just like, "What's up, man? How you doing?" The first time, and the second time I was like, "What's up, dude? I got a giant flounder last time he showed up." Oh shit!
It is, but that's it's a testament when you're still going back to buy cheap rods and cheap reels. And I don't care what you're rocking. I don't care if your leaning post is 14 karat gold. Do you catch fish? And your equipment,
and
and everything
don't act like an asshole. And if you don't,
your equipment's only relative to how effective you are with it.
Yep.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
there's a lot of really good fishermen that cannot afford Penn Internationals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or what are these Stellas and
there's some reels.
Stratics.
When I was at the shop, I was looking
Stellas,
at those reels that were like $400. I was like, I can't. Why?
I got some friends that I mean, and
why? What's the difference between that and my $130? I understand it's smooth and it'll last longer and all that stuff, but it's a reel. It's still a reel.
If you drop that mother if you drop that bitch in the water, dude, it's bye.
If you think about,
would you watch a nice combo blast with that red drum?
Yeah.
And I mean that wasn't even a mistake. The only mistake you had there is not grabbing I paddled away like 3 strokes. The rod was literally behind you for 15 seconds and then it was a bubble trail.
Yeah.
Going through the water.
Nice.
Snap.
I might have anywhere from 1 to 8 people on the water at any given moment, depending on what I'm doing. And so you can think about the amount of, and people, a lot of people are calling me, never kayak fished before.
Right.
They might have barely fished. And so everything's new to them. You're trying to walk them through landing the fish without putting the reel in the water. That's never going to happen.
Right.
It's taking it all day long. So my whole approach has been that I know I'm the guide, and I'm going to protect my stuff more, and so on and so forth. I don't want you to really use anything that I'm not prepared to use.
Yeah.
So I've got my inshore stuff is all mono. My offshore stuff is mono, in the ocean for the most part. I might have one reel here or there, with some braid on it for myself. You don't want braid and people that can't fish mix because that is a nightmare.
Oh, line
right. I mean, so monofilament, but since I do that with them, I do that for myself. And look, some of these reels, the most I'm going to pay for a reel might be $50 or something like a Fierce or something like that. A lot of the reels are $20 or less. And I will run them until they lock up. I will unscrew the top, pull the base off, put the new base on, and screw the... I got stacks of spools like this. I don't even play around. I just keep on getting it. And that's what I'm saying. These people are like, I changed my line 3 times this month. Whatever. I changed my line.
I don't know.
On my inshore stuff. Now,
I changed my line once.
My big pier fishing and drum fishing. No, I'm serious about that crap, man. I might do that daily.
I change my pier line daily. Maybe sometimes 3 or 4 times.
Right, exactly.
I ran out of line.
My kayak stuff, forget about it. My kayak stuff, when I feel like lines is popping too much, it's time to go.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I always do what I should be doing and make sure there's no real nicks or anything in the line.
Check it before you use it. I mean, I've literally
change my leaders. I'm good to roll.
I literally tied the line. I've looked at my line and been like, man, this stuff looks like weird. I'll tie it to the bumper of my truck and walk in my parking lot out here with the rod bent over as tight as I want it, as I know, and just okay, well, it's not as bad. And sometimes it breaks, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll change it.
I big drum fish.
But I've literally hooked the shit to my truck. I took it to my truck to check it. Yeah. I'll check knots with my truck. I mean, doors, whatever.
I have big drum fish with a $20 reel, a $50 ugly stick, and 12-pound test, and hooked 15 and landed 12, and the only place I was breaking them off was the leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
I mean, So you can come out there with whatever you want, how fancy it is. You're putting it through some of the worst stuff you could put it through. Now, I love guys like Rob Troy, okay, and some of these other guys are like they're showing you their workbench. They've got their workbench and all their reels laid out, and I'm like, hey, I get it. Hold on, I'm gonna clean my reel too. Trash can. Let's roll. See,
I don't
take clean my reels too because I've never put one back together.
Here's what happens to me every time. I just on the Siticas, I just took off the handle to try to put on another handle.
Spring.
Ping! Just shut off. I was like, okay, I give them to a guy and let him.
That's right. Pieces.
Yeah.
My surf reels get the same thing. Dude that got my surf reel this year is like, did it get submerged? I was like, excuse me? What? I submerged it in the ocean almost every time, and then in my sink when I got home in fresh water.
Well, that helps it out though. That breaks up that salt.
Shoot, I'll run a slosh, and that slosh.
Oh, dude, that's.
I'm gonna add some oil to the bearings and stuff like that. But when that thing dies at $110, if I got 2-3 seasons out of it, bye. I mean,
yeah.
I'm ready to roll. I'm not gonna go. Let me drop this off, and your reel will be ready in 2 weeks or whatever have you. Just whatever. Throw it on the shelf. It's good for parts or something down the road if I need a handle or whatever have you. But
nah, man, I can't fuck with it. I just don't like.
I can't grease them and shit, dude.
I'd like. Pew,
That's what I'm saying.
I got like
exactly
you've got to pier fish or surf fish to understand one concept. It does matter out there. That
I
aspect,
do.
A 13-foot carbon fiber rod is going to do better than most others in some circumstances. The better reels, faster bearings.
Right.
Distance means fish.
Yeah, I mean
kayaking, it doesn't matter. You're getting on top of them.
You can paddle over to them.
Right.
I don't know. I don't catch that many fish off the pier or surf, but I enjoy it. I got two 1509s. I fish with two and slot SLSHA 20s.
But you didn't go buy the $49 combo.
No.
In that sense, to beach fish or pier fish with, right? No,
and I know
put your money.
too.
Keep your tackle smart. Keep your tackle smart.
Yeah, man.
Now, you have more money for accessories buying a new boat. You might find, even as you and Rick talked about, like the paddles. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, you can spend a little more on your paddle, which is going to be better for you.
Start with the boat.
Start with the boat.
And like. Try them.
Yeah.
These demo days are awesome. Your friends will let you paddle their boats around.
Yep.
They're proud, especially once they put all their shit on it. They're like, man, check this thing out. I mean, they got shit hanging off the front. You can barely get in the thing. I mean, it's everything. You can rig them up like crazy.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
And about the demo days, not only do you get to see the brand new boats, I know Rob brings you, and you bring your boat rigged too, don't you?
Yeah.
People, these pros bring their boats rigged up, and so that also gives you an idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
The new boats are coming with plates to add things. I mean, everywhere. I mean, so your rigging options, you get to see some of that.
Yeah.
And especially now, since they are doing more promoting, so you will see more rigged boats show up at the show. I mean, you can take two boats comfortably with you, so not only are you going to take the Trident, which Rob is going to have rigged up.
Yep. I take my Ultra because I've been using that a lot.
Yeah.
Too. That's my bridge boat now.
Yeah, you can take your Ultra instead of or with,
Yeah.
And that's cool, but the boats will be there rigged up. People get to see that too.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you about the new inlets down there.
Well,
the new inlet bridge, I've never seen water under it.
Yeah, it's filled in. It filled in on its own.
That one did? The one
the
that
bridge goes over
and
sand.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So the one that was just a couple years ago was open.
The artificial bridge, it's still there, but it goes over sand.
Okay, so that's closed up. That one closed up.
It's got cool ripples and shit.
That was deep there for a while, right?
It was insane fishing when it first cut through there.
Yeah,
there was a lot of water, and then I think for the fish that were close to that area, You know, that was just like, oh man,
Yeah.
they opened a Shoney's.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and that's how it was.
Chick-fil-A opened up.
Yeah, I mean, when there was tide changing, there was fish chewing. I mean, it was crazy there for a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just filled in. It did what most inlets do on Hatteras Island. It did its own job and filled itself
filled it
in.
back in.
There's still, I guess they feel like this is going to be a permanent weak spot.
Right.
So they are in the process of building a permanent bridge there.
Cool.
Over the course of the next
seems like
few
that's
years.
the way to go there, and especially the P Island area too. I mean, that spot is so thin. I mean, basically the Outer Banks is, you look at, really, it's a sandbar.
That's
Really
it.
just
That's
a
it.
sandbar.
Yeah.
And those,
It is
the
literally
natural-
a barrier island.
Yeah, the natural way those things, they're living and breathing, structures, and the ocean punches through an inlet, and it brings the more salt water to the back, and it refreshes back here, and then it closes up, and then it opens up another spot. And P Island is so thin and small, and it's low. There's not a lot of dunes in a lot of that spot, and like that one spot right there at Rodanthe. I mean, that's coming. That's
The S turns. That's considered one of the highest erosion rate areas in the continental U.S.
You can look at it. You can look at it, and remember when the hurricane that hit Jersey, was it last year or is it
Sandy.
Sandy, right? On the news, they showed this spot where it punched through, and there's a bridge going to it, and where the ocean punched through. I looked at the satellite map of that same inlet, and yes, it was going to punch through. It looks exactly like the type of areas that would punch through on the Outer Banks. Exactly. Big open water in the back, big land that comes through, and it's a real small little strip of land. No shit.
Just a
That's
big
exactly-
flat and then
Yeah,
a dune
exactly.
and
what? Not even a
massive
dune there
waves.
because all the houses were there, so it wasn't even a dune there anymore. And it was
Oh,
just
okay.
punched right through.
So
But
all the waves have to do is go through houses.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it was
they
like
do
that
that
one
pretty-
house was
They
sitting
do that
in the
pretty
center.
easy.
But yeah, like P Island, and I guess are they they were trying to move sand to it and build bulkheads or whatever, all that stuff, and that usually what I've seen is whatever you add something like that, it doesn't so much help the beach as much as displace sand.
Well, it displaces everything. You know, there's been a lot of argument that when they first built the jetty at Oregon Island on the south side, that created an unbelievable amount of erosion now down the beach because it's deflecting that water.
Yes.
And people got to understand in such a
Changing
dynamic.
environment.
Well, yeah, it's just the dynamics of the Outer
You put
Banks.
something
Once again,
permanent like that, boom.
once again, Gulf Stream's right on top of you, Labrador's right on top of you, currents can be insane, and so it's deflecting, and it could have effects for 40, 50 miles, you know, of that island. It's just really hard to tell. And so, sure, most people are going to say, best thing you can do is let nature take its course with that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. The problem that lies is that there's 4,000 people there that's hinging on a free-flowing road, not a ferry or this or the other. Because that's the only way they're going to make a living.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
road is
only
at high
way
tide.
they are going to make a living. So there is your dilemma.
Yeah.
You know, what do you do? And so there's no easy answer, and it's not going to be easy for the people that stay on Hatteras.
What about
It's
the
just
bridge
not.
idea? I thought that was the best idea. Is going from Rodanthe to Oregon Inlet.
Once again, I agree with you there. Two things that are easy to point out there is one, wind advisories for that distance. You get a lot of campers and people got, you know, their little turtle
But even
luggage
if they
carrier
have-
on top.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
But even if
you
they,
got to worry about that a
even if
lot
they
down
were
there.
going across the bridge, they would be stopped by wind advisory. So there's pretty much nothing on P Island, you know, from Rodanthe to Oregon Inlet. For the
Right,
most part.
but the thing about it is the cost of it.
Canadian hole.
The cost of it.
Yeah.
And then the third,
yeah,
which
that's-
is what
yeah,
some
oh,
people,
Bridge
yeah.
that's how long is that from Oregon Inlet?
17 miles.
Yeah.
Of
Bridge back.
elevated road
Yeah, of
over
elevated marsh.
over sand.
Yeah. Because they'll probably set it back. They'll
But,
probably
yeah.
set it over the sound or something like that.
That would have you'd want to shoot it out into the sound, get
Yeah.
it as far out in a way as you could, and that's how it was proposed. Kind of swing out half moon,
Yeah.
and come back in. And once again, viable idea. And another point that people want to argue, and it's a good argument, is at that point, the road leading up P Island would then be just taken out and no longer taken care of because that sits on a federal wildlife reserve.
Right. And so that
And
also
they're
takes away-
actually concessioned to run Highway 12.
Right.
Once they get a little bit off this easement that the government allows them to use, then you're all on government property. So if you don't need the road because you built this bridge, then we're going to probably take this road away from you.
Right.
And so,
I didn't think about that.
yeah, and
So that means
so that's
no
another
access-
big
no
issue,
access
man.
to-
It's
P Island.
P Island.
Until you get
Until
to
you get
Road
Anthony, that's all.
And then you'd
P
be able to
Island.
drive back 4-wheel drive until New Inlet
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Until it got so jacked up you couldn't.
But,
Yeah, 'cause
but
it'll
you can't
be-
drive up there now, so they would never let you drive. That's the thing.
Right.
People know that would be the end of good public access to like the south side of Oregon Inlet. That's how they
Right.
feel about it.
Yeah, you're right, because that is a good fishery. I mean, that's a lot
Oh,
of stuff
yeah.
happens right there, and it's all that access. You would lose all that
P
access.
Island
and
has
you need that
incredible
access.
fishing,
You need that
man.
access to
The
all
fishing
that.
could be off the chain along P Island at times.
I didn't think about
Everything.
that. I didn't think about that road part of losing that
Where's
road.
the Canadian? In between which two
Canadian
is the
Hole
Canadian
is
Hole?
in between Avon and Buxton on the right hand
Okay.
side.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
generally where you're going to see all the kayakers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The water's real shallow, or not kayakers, kiteboarders.
Kiteboarders,
and
yeah.
the water's really short or
Yeah.
shallow, you know. So
It's like
it
a
doesn't really matter.
world
It is,
destination and
kiteboarders.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiteboarders, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
and, like this is not a race. Like
I've caught some fish over there, but at this point in
Negative
time-
term.
My kiteboarders.
Yeah, but there's so
This is
much
not a
traffic
negative
now.
term. Like they come from Canada to kiteboard here.
That's it.
Windsurfers. A lot of windsurfers there too.
I mean, it's just ideal. The
Yeah.
water, once again, is shallow. It's a great
Yeah,
place to
windsurf.
do these things.
You fall off
Windsurfing.
and stand up, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And some of these,
Oh, stand up, get
if
your
you were a
sail back
newbie
up.
and you fell in some of these spots, you might be leaving in traction.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that shallow, but once again, great training grounds.
Yeah.
Great place. You know, a lot of families go over there. A lot of paddle boarders that are just renting and stuff will go over there. Like I said, there's fish in that area to pick at, but it's
No,
it's
I was
not
just
worth
asking.
it.
Like I couldn't remember exactly which two it was in between.
Yeah.
When I drove down there a couple weeks ago. On the ultimate offshore.
Oh, yeah,
Fail.
did you go? That's right, you got.
Oh yeah, I do. I had them hold. They were hanging on. They wanted to see it.
I'm hoping, you know, pretty much every time I get anything lined up to go offshore, man, I'm getting blown out anymore.
Oh yeah, dude,
I mean, I
it's-
just
the weather,
can't.
it's
I can't
brutal.
seem to put it together right now to
It's
save my
so
life, and it's
bad.
killing me because
The
I
wind's
just
been
want
crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's been the way.
But the thing is, even when you look at it, like I was thinking originally, like Tuesday, Wednesday might be nice to go out, and then they was kind of showing 2 to 4, 3 to 5, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I have friends that come in and they're like, oh man, Rob, from a kayaking standpoint out there, it was ideal. I'm like, dang. You know, can't win.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't win with that stuff, but I'm dying to get out again, man. That's.
You just gotta get rigged up to take pictures on the boat and have your boat strapped to the front.
nice.
Yeah, I'm dying to get out too, man.
Yeah, that's what I used to do with the Big Tahuna, but you know, guess Kenny's not even on there anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on with that thing.
Yeah.
They've apparently they opened a new Facebook page and everything.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Do you have one guy you usually go the mothership stuff? with?
no, I mean, I started that stuff out the first time Rick and all of us did it. You know, was with the Big Tahuna and another boat, and that guy moved on. But at this point, I'm continually talking to more captains that are becoming more open-minded with it.
Yeah.
Because in order eventually for it to be semi-successful is to have a variety of boats that you could pick from based upon that weather, because people get busy and they might not be available.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
might be working on his boat.
Right.
You know.
You do need a bunch of guys.
You
Yeah.
really need a bunch, and I actually had a meeting last
So,
week with a
to-
gentleman who's
to have
bringing
a-
a boat down.
To have them all just kind of maybe incorporate that, start incorporating that with their trips. I mean, that would be
Well,
ideal.
Well,
that would be the ideal
you've
thing.
also got guys that, dude, a lot of guys with your teak boards
right.
and your teak
Don't want it.
decks real nice charter boats aren't.
want the kayaks
Yeah,
on.
they absolutely want nothing to do with your kayak inside of it.
So it's the right.
Oh
boats,
yeah,
too.
dude, you need meat wagons,
right.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I don't disagree with
charter boats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys that there's some of the guys with the teak upper boards would consider it. I assume, but dude, these guys that take the time to like treat all this wood on the top and the decks of their boats, they're not trying to.
Yeah.
That's a dent. That's a dent almost every time.
Yeah. And
You know what I mean?
scratches from the kayak.
They're not
scratch
heavy.
that, yeah.
They're not heavy, but that's a dent every
Yeah.
time. I mean, they ride out. You know,
And that's the thing, and it's
they're laid
cool that
against
you brought
shit.
this up, because even like this captain I met with that's moving this boat down to Hatteras, and he wants to do this. He had approached me at the Great Bridge Fishing Flea Market, and we got to talking, and so I met the actual owner of the boat the other night, and we're talking, and what we want to do is design almost like a field goal system that'll just go right down into the flush rod mounts on the side of these big boats. And then you could get like 2 boats within the field goal right there alongside of the boat. It's not beating the boat.
It's not really in the boat,
It's
right?
not even in the
Dude,
boat.
if you're not fishing off of the boat, you could run posts across that bitch
and almost at the top of your car.
No
Dude,
shit. Either way.
right
That's what I
behind the
thought about,
fly.
too.
It's something they can just put on and off when they have
It's
that
almost,
chart.
yeah, it's almost like your big old Yakima rack right on the back.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude,
And they can take on and off. Boom.
Well,
Okay, we got.
it just goes right down in the
and
rod.
we got kayaks.
Yeah.
Boom,
At
put it
one
on.
point, I mean, that's something like, if you got enough captains that were worth, like, letting you put them in there, because it wouldn't matter, the rod holder distance isn't going to matter that much on these fly bridge boats. You put this post in that goes across between the two that you can attach. I mean, you get enough captains interested, it's almost worth it getting one for the company to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I
and,
mean?
and that's
So,
And it's universal on it.
That's
yeah,
even-
as opposed to just putting one on each side, if you're not gonna and especially if they are gonna fish off the boat, they're not gonna fish off the boat with all the kayaks in the boat anyway.
Right.
It's not gonna work. So you got the kayaks out of the way. These things come right back down. You know, they come apart in an L shape, set to the side, and then you can put rods off the back, because a lot of times people their mate will be fishing off the boat when the kayaks are in the water. I mean, those guys love to fish too, and they don't get to fish every day.
But even when you were down there, you guys struck out, but then you started fishing from the boat, didn't you?
No, I didn't go on that, man.
Oh, that was Rob and them, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I don't know.
They had gone
Jack and
out.
those guys,
They
I
had
think.
tried to do something. Rob Choi had gone with them, and they all struck out. And then they, ended up fishing from the boat. And that's another reason of, let's see what we can develop to optimize today. In case you get out there and I've never struck out on the kayak.
Oh, yeah,
you're
dude,
gonna
that was
find
Rob
an
was talking about that.
albacore or an amberjack. You're not gonna strike out.
Yeah, Rob was talking about that. That's when they put the green stick out and went meat hunting on the blackfin
Right.
tunas and just filled the boat up with them, had them coming out of the coolers.
If you had a good way to hold those boats, then you're able to do that still comfortably and say, okay, well, we struck out on the kayaks, but we're getting our money's worth because now we're loading up on them on the back of the
Yeah, I
boat.
mean, you could drop them down off of that, but as far as if you put them, I don't know. It's just
Sometimes
such
it's
an
just good old
interesting
fashioned
way to
sitting back and fabricating. And I talked about this
I was
with
just
Rick
thinking, like,
after
when
the
you
very first
talked
time. I
about
was
field
like,
goal, that's what I thought, is if you put them on either side of this 13-foot wide rig, you could put your kayaks at wide range. Here we go, like right
yeah,
behind
but
the fly bridge.
the only problem with that would be is if you're wider than the beam, you end up being on a boat that's wider than the beam. You're gonna have kayaks sticking out if you're trying to punch through an inlet or do something. That's just gonna get ugly.
Yeah, no,
Catching
I
that
mean,
spray, but-
you could only you'd have to like.
You have to have a pretty big.
Yeah, I
beam
mean, you're
in
not
the
going
back.
out on the Boston Whaler. you
Right,
know?
but I know I understand. I'm just saying you gotta have a pretty large beam in the back to do it.
Yeah, those boats that are coming in and out of that inlet every day got large beams.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, and that's the way I kind of want to go with it. I want to see the offshore stuff get more. I want to see guys in Hatteras waters pushing the limits. It's closer than running out of Virginia Beach.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Lord.
And
Yeah.
it's consistent. That's the thing is you're
You
able
get
to
out there to the
consistency
rock
on that.
pile or one of the towers, and you're
Any
gonna
time of
catch
year
something.
to catch something.
Something.
Right.
That's the thing.
And like you said, to have it where it's that easy, where you can go boom, 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 where like they come in all the morning charter and they go, okay, we got kayaks at noon. Put the thing on, put them in, let's go.
Well, see, like he said, with the amberjacks and everything, sure, you don't get that excited about an amberjack. When you're in a kayak, I'm excited about an amberjack.
yeah.
I will tell you.
The first one.
Yeah.
Dude,
Rob and
those
I,
things.
one time, Rob and I went out.
Doink, doink, doink.
Yeah.
As far as you got off the bottom, that's how far they're going to go. An amberjack goes like this. You jig, you jig, you jig, 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 jig. Hook. Doink, 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 doink. Zzz. As far as they're going to go to the bottom, you reel up a few turns. Doink, doink.
Back.
And then you get circles.
Well,
And then they turn around and they try and fight again, and they just doink, doink. I mean, when they pull, they're really strong.
Yeah.
But
Rob and I
they're
got into some.
really, really predictable because they do the exact same thing. It's like they train for that shit.
Rob and I were getting into some monsters and like 300 foot of water off this what's called the Clark Wreck, and the Clark Wreck was sunk in World War II, and it's a big boat, it's a huge ship, and it's sitting perfectly straight up and down on the bottom, and like 250, 280 foot of water, and sure, we were right there. We were like a quarter mile off of it, and we were hanging amberjacks. We never turned. They would spin that boat around, and I could never get the rod up. I mean, these were stud, 70, 80 pound,
Dude, that's the
80
biggest one I've ever seen off Hatteras this year.
and dragging us, never turning it, just like this. Hold on for the quarter mile, and you get right. So you know when you were getting over the wreck, bink. There you go. I mean, he was running right into it.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a hole that he's shooting into, running for cover. But I mean, never turned him.
Yeah.
And I didn't get tired. You get tired of losing $20 jigs, you know.
Yeah.
But I never got tired of hooking them and getting towed for that.
That's another thing about the charters. They're like, man, you can bring your own tackle. You load 6 kayaks on the back, and go blackfin tuna fishing, and the taxman is real bad. Things get real ugly for the charter real fast if you ain't brought your own jigs.
Yeah, when you're doing it from a kayak, definitely, because you're gonna lose some stuff.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, you're fast,
Yeah.
and you can do it fast. You're not as fast as that boat on that jigging platform. I mean, you can really take big swipes at them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because our angle is here.
Yeah, yeah. You
We
can
have a
take
small
big
angle.
swipes at them, get them, because the blackfins aren't big.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I mean, they tell you when they really start digging, if you don't want the sharks to eat them, just put your thumb on the spool. They're not big enough to break the
Pretty
tackle.
cool.
They feel like they are, but they're not big enough to break it.
No.
You're fishing with 80-pound, 100-pound leader,
No.
and 50 to 65 or 85-pound braid. These even up to 30-pound, 30, 35-pound is the biggest, unless you're looking to push records.
Yeah.
They can't break that shit, man.
Yeah.
They can't pull it apart. As long as your knots, your terminal tackle are good, they can't pull it apart.
No.
Just put your thumb on the spool, man. You know it's a blackfin, just put your thumb on the spool. He can't break it. Just
It's a vibrating.
fight. Oh, boy, it's ugly. I mean, they'll really put it to you,
Yeah.
but they can't break it.
Yeah.
So they do their thing, and then you just get on them. As soon as you get a chance, stop it. I mean, that's what Kenny always told us on the Big Tahuna. He was like, man, if you don't want your blackfins to get eaten, stop them. As soon as you get a chance, just stop them. They can't break it.
I think one thing offshore in the mothership thing that you do out of there was I would like to do dolphin stuff where it's like light tackles, cast on the lines and stuff like
Once
that.
again,
and you
Rob
can catch 'em up to
and I were out there, and we were catching them on trout rods with trout jigs.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what
4-inch curly tail, redhead.
They don't sound.
Right. They're not super crazy and they jump.
No.
Right?
They jump, though. They are super
So you
crazy,
want-
but they don't sound.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
need
want to
heavy
say that a
tackle for
bull dolphin is not strong. A true
But
bull
you don't need,
dolphin.
You don't need super heavy tackle.
No, you wouldn't in a kayak. Why not? It's giant polyball. Have fun towing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. I've never fought a dolphin that really sounded. I mean, I've had them swim down 30, 40 feet, but never like
Right.
Yeah.
pew.
Yeah.
Not like tuna
That's
going to the bottom.
I wouldn't hesitate fishing once again, one of my $20 3,000 or 4,000 reels,
Right,
with
low
12 or 14,
or a low profile bait casting.
12 or 14 pound test for a dolphin in a heartbeat and a bull from the kayak, because it's going to be all drag. He's never going to burn you out.
Right.
No.
But so that day we were really in a small class of bailers and a couple gaffers in there, but yeah, I mean we're trout rods, same rods I catch puppy drum, I'm catching dolphin.
Yeah.
That's
something
and it's
I
a
would like
blast,
to
man.
do.
It really is.
If anything of the mothership trips, I just can't afford
That's
those.
expensive, dude. My buddy
But it is.
Howard, when we went out the other day, it was $30.
Yeah.
See, if we can
If
get
it's
him to
like
take
that, I
the
can do
kayak,
that,
something
yeah.
like that, when he gets on the, and he loves to go out of Hatteras, dude. If he would let us just take one,
Yeah.
so that we could fish,
Yeah.
all of us would get a shot or two.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if we want to troll around and fish and catch a bunch of dolphin, that's cool.
But I wanna
they
go
get
cast
down
on
there
like that.
so good, dude. You can roll up to a weed line
Yeah. That's
and
what
just
I want.
throw.
That's what I like to do. Yeah.
And they'll never get tired of the kayak. You'll never spook them with the kayak.
Oh, all they'll do is try
you
to hang
might
out
drift
underneath
off
of you.
of them.
You
might drift
or-
off of them,
But you're
You might
not-
drift off of them, or
you're-
you might get them to drift
You're a piece of
with you.
flotsam just like everything else out there.
They might follow you for a little while.
Yeah, they're never gonna get spooked to you. My friend that he was kind of a maniac. His thought was he wanted to make what he called the offshore duck blind, and he wanted to take a 4x8 sheet of plywood, cut a hole up towards one end of it, put nice size floats on all four corners, and go out there and drop this sucker, and be able to get along the weed lines and spearfish like that, like I'm gonna lean off the side. Something's coming for the plywood eventually. With that theory, drifting the weed line, I'm like, that's really kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's true. The kayak's the same way. Kayak on the weed line, things are coming to check you out. They might be cool, they might not be cool.
He got his,
to check you out.
He stores his plywood in the creek down the house that's got barnacles and shit growing off the boat. It looks real natural.
Yep.
He just throws it out there.
Well, see, one of the things these spear fishermen showed me the trick they make flashers. So that they can be up on the surface and it might be 100 foot long or whatever, and it's got mirrors attached to it. And they'll buy their mirrors at the dollar store, little cosmetic mirrors and stuff. Just start ripping it through the water column to see what will come off a wreck or off the bottom to investigate all this flashing.
CDs also could do
CDs,
do space
and sure enough, be able to do that. I would love to do it just to film it. I would love to do it just to film it. Just start ripping flashers, down this massive.
Dude, those Troll Pro cameras attached to dredges.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah,
dude,
cool.
Shit just comes in like really. Things are really, really mad at schools of baitfish out there.
Yeah.
Anything out there is really, really
That's
mad
what's
at
so
baitfish.
nice. That's what I really like about all the little technology now is you really get to see things you never saw before. You never got to see what was going on in the dredge.
Oh my god, dude, yellowfins like this.
Yeah.
All day long. Coming up at the bottom of the dredge. You never see that shit from the boat. All day long when you're offshore.
Yeah.
There's like yellowfins and bonitas and shit like this.
Babies.
This big. Just coming up at your dredge to check it out all day long.
The one of the mako coming up, picking all the ballyhoo clean off the hooks without ever getting hooked. Did you see that one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, it's nothing. He comes in at 25 miles an hour, grabs the back of it, rips it off the hook. He disappears, comes back. I mean, it's... Yeah.
Houdini, man. Like the wahoo that comes in, dude. I mean, I've literally been outshore trolling.
Technology. I love the technology and what we get to see.
You hear nothing, see nothing, and the short rigger is flapping in the wind. Wahoo.
Yeah.
Cut through your shit. You didn't hear nothing, you didn't see nothing. The short rigger is just in the wind.
Just went...
Yep.
The late great Jose Wajebe, I got to see him speak one time in the Florida Keys, and one of the things he emphasized was he loved to get in the water and watch the fish. And he said, "I want to see them in their habitat," and I never forgot that. And this is the type of technology now that we're using, to be able to see what's going on in different situations.
Well, that's my connection with the Reds. I've been able to sight cast them to them so much and see them in their environment, and I've gotten a connection with them in that sense because I think I feel like I know what they're doing. I'm seeing them look at stuff and seeing them look at me and react to stuff. I've been seeing it more so when you're blind casting to something happen.
Right.
So it's like so that's why I feel like connected with them because I've been able to learn so much, but just by watching them. By seeing what they've done, and that's the same thing. And with the technology now, shit like these, the GoPro went down on the tog fishing, and Lee didn't want to tog fish anymore after that. He was just because it's sitting there looking at his bait and like picking at his bait. There's so many tog down there. You wouldn't know there was that.
I mean, Ken did it. They went out to a wreck a few weeks ago. They finally got hooked up to the wreck like late in the afternoon. They caught 11 togs. 11 keepers, and the biggest one was 20 pounds. Yeah. They went back 2 weeks later. He got hooked up to it finally. They caught no togs. They caught sea bass all day. They put a GoPro down. Sea bass everywhere. Same place. So weird. But he's putting them down in his tog spots. Still, there's fish everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's where, you got to take it if you're going to really worry about it and sweat it to getting that extra data of like, okay, what's the water temperature? What's the wind?
Somebody did ask what we use for water temperature, website-wise. Rutgers and, is it Ocean Temp, I think.
Yeah,
I have a friend of mine that I ask
Yeah,
to send me,
Rutgers-
like a friend of mine that pays for a really nice
Oh,
service.
yeah.
That if I want a really good inshore shot every now and then or something like that, all I do is ask.
Yeah, the
but
free
I can't
one that I have
remember
on
for
my links
Rutgers.
page. That's Rutgers, yeah.
Yeah, I use a lot of Rutgers, man.
Yeah.
And that thing's usually spot on. Even,
And then for ocean temps, NOAA too, the buoys.
yeah, the
Yeah,
buoys
yeah,
are
The
yeah.
buoys and the weather buoys are
Yeah.
like up to date, accurate. They update every 45 seconds or something.
Yeah, but I have the first island, Kit the Peak, and Willoughby.
Yeah.
On to check the you can look on those and that's on my links page. But yeah, any like that, there's information.
Then there's the wind for all weather. I think has the one with the arrows, the
Right.
small arrows in certain locations.
Right.
Some of those locations have water temperature
Oh, okay.
because they're on a buoy.
Yeah.
Wind speed, air temperature.
Yeah, spring and fall is when I really pay attention to water temps, and then summer is just like summer.
It's hot.
It's hot. Just go deep.
The sheep's head fishing.
Yeah. Well, hell, man. Are you driving back?
Oh yeah, I'm southbound
It's
tonight.
9:30, man. Let's call it.
All right.
Well, I
Yeah,
definitely
man.
enjoyed it.
Thank you. And this is it's OuterBanksKayakFishing.com.
That's right.
Simple.
Check
You
us
got
out.
it.
All my
Yeah.
information is right there. You
On Facebook too, and I'll
see
have a
lot
link
of
up.
different-
On the Facebook link. And
Awesome
yeah.
service for the Outer Banks.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, thank
Yep.
you.
Yep. You got a good fishery and a good thing, and you got the kayaks and get everybody out there and get them.
lot
I'm in the
of
right. I'm
options.
just lucky. I'm in the right spot. And watching like Mark and some of the other guys up here. That guy that said, "Oh, I was in a tourist area. I thought it was going to really be big." Down there, people are looking for that stuff. They're looking at the hang gliding and the
Mm-hmm.
kiteboarding and stuff. So they're looking for what they consider to be an obscure sport almost.
And you it's a destination. It's not Lake Virginia Beach. You're down there, and
For the water.
beach and water is the only
Yeah.
thing to do down
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of options. So many options down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to see and a lot to do, and if they're on a weekend, it's a very short weekend. But if they want to get out, yeah.
Hey, but I get a lot of people anymore from even your end of town, here in Norfolk, Chesapeake, Tidewater, that just come down specifically for that.
Yeah,
I'll
you don't
run
have-
'em.
yeah,
I'll
you
run
don't
'em,
have
and they
the
come home that
time.
afternoon. They know that.
You don't have
Yeah.
the time to put in down there. It's a beautiful place to go fish. And if you don't have the time to put in down there, spend the money on a charter to have a good time. I mean, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
I've learned that in offshore fishing. I'm an idiot. I say I quit every time, and then a year later or 8-10 months later, somebody will talk me into going again.
Yeah,
But
you
it's just one of those things. Like I hate it every time, but I still keep going.
Right.
But if I would just not and go with a charter every few months or twice a year, because I've done that.
Yeah.
I've been through that phase where I went with a charter twice a year for a few years, and it really, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Those guys, we haven't had the most phenomenal days sometimes.
Well, that's
they
because-
know how to make a great day,
And they're out there every day, and that's the
and they
thing is
try really hard.
You have a beat on the fish, and just like right now, you got reds, like as many reds as you want to catch in the day. So
For the most part.
you got that going on right now, and after the storm, you'll figure out what's happening right after that. And,
If you don't like this school,
Yeah.
we'll paddle to the other one.
yeah,
The next one. These
Yeah.
ones aren't red enough. We'll go catch the next school.
Yeah, so man, thank you for being on here, man.
I appreciate
hope
it,
you
brother.
get back on here again. I love you
You got
coming
it,
up here.
man.
That's awesome. Cool. All right, thanks guys, and we'll see you next time. OuterBanksKayakFishing.com. Later.